Happy Easter, everyone. There's no bunny day like MLB Bunny Day, Fun Day, Sunday. What am I talking about? I don't know. Okay, anyway. I'm just going to do a quick little analysis of the early slate. We already got news that this Kansas City game is going to be rained out. I guess it rains a lot there. Just in general, I suggest you make a rule for at the beginning of the season. I think it's still early enough that you tell yourself, hey, I'm going to fade all games where there's a chance of rain, because baseball is the one sport where they're super careful. Like, you look at football, if it like snows, rains, they don't care. They're going to like kill each other anyway. But baseball, if you kind of lose control of that ball when you're pitching, you can hurt people pretty bad. And even like sliding to bases and kind of running, just way too injury prone. So, that's out. So we're really looking at these 6 games. Let's see. So remember, your focus when you're making your lineups. It applies both to cash and GPP. It's all about your pitchers, right? So if you're using Fantasy Nerd, which is the best aggregate of information pretty much for free, look at Sierra, right? So this is my process. Every day I just kind of categorize by Sierra and see who are the worst pitchers. This is based on last year's data, but remember also to look at things into context. So I was gonna target Mr. Lopez, but the game got rained out, so this does it for the entire slate. I can't X him out because you're not a member. So not him. Okay, Peters. Chicago is going to be chalk, right? Chalk is what's the most popular play today, and it makes a lot of sense. Vegas says he's going to do badly. And they don't really have a lot of numbers on him. I don't think he has too much experience in the majors either. So I'm going to tell you right now, the chalk lineup is going to be probably using Quintana because he's the best pitcher on the slate. And his command is so good compared to Darvish. If you watched the game last night, Darvish, with his new pitching motion, he couldn't pitch first pitch strikes, and when you do that, you fall behind and you end up giving up a lot of runs, and it was just it was ugly. It's going to be Almora, Bryant, and Russell. I mean, some people will probably throw in Rizzo there, but versus lefties, I'm not as big of a fan. So, and there's no reason not to use that. It's a great stack, great matchup. Only bad thing is kind of the weather. I mean, it's pretty warm, but the wind in is not so great. But it's aight. Then we keep looking at who the bad pitchers are. When you're... yeah, so you can see Quintana is doing pretty well. It's actually just average, right? The average Sierra in the league is 3.9. If someone's like 4.2, that's bad. If they're above 4.2, you should really be targeting them for your lineups. Luke Weaver's command is really good. Rich Hill is still a beast with that curveball, still striking everyone out. That's kind of for the later. Stroman last year was not good, and apparently he had shoulder inflammation in the offseason, and he had I think 1 or 2 good preseason outings, but those don't really matter. So targeting New York I think is not a bad idea, especially at I think he's a fly ball pitcher too. Are you? We can't see it here. But anyway, so who you kind of pair with the Chicago stack is up to you. I'm going to show you kind of a little technique that I found that has been really helpful. So if you go to PlateIQ, it's a Roto Grinders tool. It's for free. If you just search PlateIQ, it actually takes you to some chef cooking thing, which is kind of funny. But anyway, so a cool thing about this is it aggregates data really well too. So just looking at this Baltimore game, we're looking at Berrios. Berrios is he's a good pitcher. We can look just to verify everything with numbers, right? Ooh, wow, his Sierra is horrible. That's not really reflective of how good he is. Because I think last year he ended the season pretty poorly, so it kind of inflated his numbers a little bit. But it tells you cool things here, like let's see, the percent of his batted balls that were greater than 95 miles an hour, right? Which tells you he's likely to give up those long balls, or the thing I look for here is what percent of the pitches were well hit. All right, if they're well hit, you have that launch angle between 22 and 36. So that's home run, and the exit velocity is greater, right? And so how many times is he generating those potential like long balls, which is what you want. So yeah, you can kind of, the first pitch strike, that's very, very important too. That's how you get ahead of batters and strike a lot of people out. All right, so what else they have here? They show you the heat map. So the heat maps are very useful, but you have to take this with a grain of salt because a lot of pitches have movement on them. So these don't exactly reflect that if a pitch comes in, let's say high, and it's a curveball, it ends up here, right? But the pitcher kind of, the hitter sees it up here. So kind of trying to integrate that information in is a little bit tricky. But I still have found like success looking at these heat maps. So here it shows, the frequency of his pitches, right? 8.7% of the time he's down here. The red zones are, the higher frequencies versus the lower, right? And then you can look at Davis too. Yeah, he likes the ball here. So versus, where is he standing? So I guess you can kind of match it up and you can see, wow, there's a lot of overlap here. So you want to see the areas where there's overlap. And if the frequency is high enough, that could be a good angle. You could do it by like WOBA, where does he make good contact and, put the balls in play, generating runs and things like that. ISO, just, kind of straight up power and extra bases. I just started looking at, whoa. What was I looking at before? ISO? Whiff percentage? Oof, man. So he likes those high pitches. Then he misses. ISO, hard percentage. Okay. So that's pretty cool too. So yeah, so if you see two overlapping regions, it's likely that, they're going to make contact there, hit the ball pretty hard, give you the best chance for extra bases and home runs. The other super, super useful part, and you kind of have to just match all these up, right? So if you know that he has a high, we're going to actually look at Minnesota hitter because it's better. So he has the well hits, right? So 10% of his pitches are well hit. Those are like ideal kind of long ball extra base hits, right? We'll look at, so Mauer. So his frequency of the pitches, man, he's in the heart of the plate way, way too much. It's not good. That's 20% right there. Should we look at ISO? Okay, because we want extra. Man, there's quite a lot of overlap right there. So, Dozier could have a good game. And then the final piece is you see what kind of pitches he throws, right? So right away you see he throws a lot of FF is four-seam fastball. And he throws it 62% of the time. God, that is, you're really living on the edge if you're such like a fastball pitcher. The splitter is good. He mixes it in, tells you the kind of the WOBA on those pitches. The expected WOBA it's more useful, but also remember you got to keep it in context. Like if he, I don't know if he kind of had some bad outings, right? It's going to extrapolate it to be much, much higher. But when he throws that so often, it's like, bad things are going to happen, and it's hit hard 32% of the time. Like, God, and he's not generating too many ground balls either. So, just look at this stack, right? They're top four. Even Logan Morrison, God, the expected WOBA. This is absolutely ridiculous. Like, you don't see numbers this high ever. ISO, right? Isolated power for extra base hits and home runs. So, just looking at this, man, you think Minnesota's going to have a good game. Gosman does do better at home, and he throws heat, but it's just like the command issues are we should be worried about. So let's look at another hitter. Oh, and an example of why to keep things into context. Joe Mauer is, I think he's in his mid-30s now. You start to see the power decline. His WOBA is way too high. He likes drawing walks more. He'll kind of make, that hard hit percentage, is that like right? At his age, you're not going to be seeing such kind of elevated numbers. So, man, he does hit a lot of ground balls. Yeah, you can see. So he walks a lot more. So keep that in context. Let's see. Let's look at Rosario. I don't think a lot of people are going to use Rosario. So he throws versus lefties. He likes kind of that. Ooh, Rosario really likes that area. Sees Woba. That's weird. I need to kind of look into that more. So this could just mean more of like the singles. I mean, it aggregates stuff. That's weird. You would think that the ISO and hard would be more kind of related. He does get him there sometimes too. So this is just a tool to, I guess, create some theories and see how you like it. You know, I was looking at here specifically at just that fastball. Okay, that's why. Okay, that's why these numbers are so high, specifically for the fastball, right? That's what you should be doing the best with. If we look at slider, now we see some numbers, you know, come back to reality. He throws that often. What about the splitter FS? Boom. Man. Minnesota stack looks too good, so I'm probably gonna have to use them too. But all right, I mean that's it. I don't want this to go on too long. I know you guys got chocolate to eat and stuff, so enjoy. And I'm gonna start ending the videos with kind of a quote, just something to think about and enjoy. So Tim Grover, for context, was Michael Jordan's kind of trainer, and he helped push him to get even better than he was, right? He also trained Dwayne Wade. He worked with like a lot of athletes to improve their mental toughness, and he has a lot of good quotes. He wrote a really great book called Relentless, where he talks about all his experiences and strategies, and he's right here, man. You kind of have to be selfish first in life to improve yourself as much as possible, to have, you know, that great abundance and sort of to be the best you can be. It is a continual process, but make sure you're in a great state. And once you are, then you can really start helping people a lot more. So, hope you guys learned something today, and, you know, good luck. Let's keep crushing it. GG.